Welcome to The Disruption Is Now. Join us on this enlightening journey as we explore how AI is impacting our jobs, careers, lives, and the human experience. Each episode, host Greg Matusky will converse with visionaries and innovators at the forefront of AI, diving into its challenges, opportunities, and impact. So buckle up as we venture into the heart of disruption, and together, let's unfold the future.
Hey, welcome to another episode of The Disruption Is Now, the podcast where we talk about all things AI and how it's going to impact human communications. I'm Greg Matusky. I'm your host, and I'm also the CEO of Gregory FCA, the public relations agency. And you know, when it comes to human communications, one of the biggest fears in the hearts of communicators is public speaking. Some people say they fear public speaking more than death itself. And that is an issue. And a lot of the reasons that we fear public speaking is because we don't know how it's done. We don't know what the rules are. We don't know how to engage. And so today we have on a very interesting entrepreneur named Varun Puri, and he has a company called Yoodli. And this is an AI-powered public speaking application, which allows strategic communicators and trainers like me to work with subjects to improve their public speaking, their media relations, and everything that has to happen when you're communicating a thought or narrative to the public. Did I get that right, Varun? Is that what you're up to?
100%. Thank you for having me here. It's such an honor. The quick summary of Yoodli is it's Grammarly for speech. It is an AI-powered speech coach that helps you simulate any conversation. A crucial conversation, a media training simulation, a public speaking engagement, etc.
So let's talk about this. Let's pull it apart. Now, you use artificial intelligence, machine learning. It actually reviews the performance in a media training session or a public speaking session. How does it work?
Yeah, so think of Yoodli as a smart mirror. If I have an upcoming speech or a tough conversation on CNN, I come to Yoodli and I practice. Yoodli will understand the context of what I'm saying and ask me follow-up questions the same way my audience or a journalist would. So I can customize their personas: angry journalist, skeptical labor union worker, upset manager, etc. So Yoodli will have a back and forth conversation with me. And at the end of the conversation, Yoodli will give me a report on how I did on my structure, clarity, delivery, tone, pitch, intonation, etc.
So tell me a little bit about the origin stories and your background story, because you come out of Google, and at one point you were a direct report to Sergey Brin, if I understand correctly. How did you end up at Google, and where did this idea originate, and when did you want to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, all heavy-hitting questions. My quick story is home for me is India. I came to the US for undergrad. I joined Google right after college.
Where did you go to college?
I went to Claremont McKenna, which is a small liberal arts college in LA.
How does somebody get from India to LA?
Through a lot of rejected applications, actually. So my dream colleges were on the East Coast. I had applied through a leadership program in India. I didn't get into most places I applied to, and CMC was one of the few places that let me come in. So I joined. You know, in India, brand name is a really big thing. Not many folks knew what Claremont McKenna was. So I came on taking a big bet, and it was a blast, to be honest.
So then how do you get into Google from there?
Yeah, at Claremont McKenna, we had some incredible internship opportunities. So my sophomore summer, Intuit, which is right across the road from Google, had an innovation contest in college. I won that. So I worked at Intuit my sophomore year. And when I was at Intuit, I was like, wow, Google across the road seems really amazing with all these colorful bikes and those cool hats with the fans on top. So I applied to Google my junior summer, worked there, and then converted to a full-time job.
Okay, so how big was Google at that time?
God, I have no idea.
But big. You're a young guy.
I mean, I'm talking in the hundreds of thousands. I just don't know how many hundreds of thousands.
So then you come out of college and you're directly reporting to Sergey Brin. Am I to understand that?
Yeah, it was an incredible opportunity. So I actually joined Google in one of the early grad rotational programs. Most companies have this where they switch you through a bunch of roles and you get exposure to different parts of the company. Through a very random series of events, I got tapped by an HR lead at Google saying, Sergey is looking for someone right out of college to come and just get stuff done. Would you be interested? Obviously, it was a dream role. I interviewed for it. It was meant to be a little experiment at the start, and then I ended up doing that for about 2 years.
So get stuff done. Has that been what you were known for at Google, to get stuff done?
I don't know if I would get more stuff done than most. I was lucky and I was right out of college. When I interviewed with Sergey, my response was, look, I know nothing about nothing. I've just graduated from college. I'm willing to work really hard and try a bunch of things. And I'm just here to learn. And I think that was my approach going into the role. Just an incredible opportunity and a great way to learn right out of college.
So, okay, where did the turn go that you said you thought I could be an entrepreneur? When did that first hit you?
I'd always wanted to start my own thing, growing up in India as well. I wanted to start something in college. I tried. It was one of those fun college ideas. It was an integrated social media app that didn't go anywhere. I'm an immigrant. I'm a not a U.S. citizen, so starting a company is hard. So navigating how do I balance my Google job and move on and drop my visa in order to start something was challenging. When I found the right investors and I had the right idea, I was like, let me take the leap of faith.
So when did AI come into the picture? When did you really focus on that, see its potential? When you were at Google or after that? How did that shape your thinking?
It's interesting. I actually don't see Yoodli as an AI company. My goal in starting Yoodli was to help people improve their public speaking. And I think technology could be one way to do it. So I actually started Yoodli before all of the large language model and GPT revolution started. And we were finding creative ways to give people feedback. And then as the AI boom took place, we realized, wow, that's a great solution to the problem we are trying to solve, as opposed to the other way around.
So what pointed you towards that issue, that challenge? Was it the fact that you're not a native English speaker, or why this area? You could have gone into anything, and here you are helping people present better. So what was the impetus behind that?
Yeah, of course, my background as an immigrant, as someone who grew up in India, has struggled with public speaking, has seen people struggle with public speaking. But I think more broadly, there are so many smart people in the world, all the way from the introvert to a non native English speaker to someone who gets interrupted or talked over in corporate America to the person who doesn't get the opportunities they deserve because they don't quote unquote play the game. And the alternative today is to practice in front of a camera, a mirror, a stopwatch, to maybe cringe and ask someone to record you and give you feedback. And I think it's so palpable. 2 out of 3 people say this is a bigger fear than the fear of death. We all know 10, 20 people struggling with this right now. We've all sat through monotonous, boring presentations. And I think the same way Grammarly helps people improve their writing, or Duolingo helps you with your language learning, there's got to be something that can help you with your speaking.
So let's go over this. Now really go into it. How does it work? How does the app work? Do you feed it the video, and it works with video, right?
Yeah, so it's video and audio. The way it works is you can upload any recording from anywhere in the world, or you can come and practice any speech or conversation. Yoodli will take on the audience persona, go back and forth with you the same way your audience might ask you questions. And then at the end, it uses a combination of computer vision, which is understands my gesture, posture, lighting, etc. Speech, which is my voice, my intonation, etc. And then natural language processing. So it understands my word choice, my content, structure. Did I use the rule of threes? Did I hit my talking points? To give me holistic feedback on how I can improve for the next version of my presentation.
So how do you feed in those talking points? How do you prepare the machine for the individual? How do you customize it so that it knows what the talking points are? It knows what the emphasis is or the message should be. How does that play into the app?
Yep. So I'll give you a very concrete example. Let's say I'm a media training company. I need to train dozens of executives and maybe more folks on practicing their upcoming CNBC interview. I will upload a bunch of our best practice content, right? This could be best practices on bridging, on pausing, making eye contact, using the triangle method, etc. Udly will then use that content as its custom knowledge base to coach your clients in your voice and using your method. So
So
Udly in
that
this case is an extension of you.
so that's Udly's information, or is that the client's information or the trainer's information?
It is the trainer's information. So Udly is the trainer's assistant, right? AI is by no means human level good. I like to think of it as the co-pilot. So if you're the doctor, it's your medical report. If you're the accountant, it's TurboTax. You feed in your best practice and think of this as Greg AI, or trainer Bob's personal AI that coaches your clients in your voice.
And this fits in really well with strategic communications because, as you know, AI threatens us in many ways. And some of it threatens us in that it'll take away the tedium, those tasks that are repetitive, redundant, right? But the real heart of what we do is provide value to the client. And to do this to do this manually, right? You've got to watch the video, you've got to comment, you got to time stamp it in your mind, you got to comment on it, and that can take literally 3 times longer than the video. So if you have a 20-minute segment, just getting your notes together can take you an hour and a half. And then you have to provide it to the client, right? So traditionally what happens is you kind of cheat sheet it, right? You give the client just generalized comments of how they can do better. Now, with this app, with Yoodli, you can be very specific. It takes away all that tedium and that friction, which is created before you deliver value. And instead, it allows the strategic communicator to really, really focus on the value they're creating. That does a couple things, Varun, from my perspective, which is very important. It makes for a better relationship with the C-suite. And in my industry with AI, one of the big issues is how do you maintain your seat at the table, right? When content could be created by junior associates, right? How do you, as a strategic communicator, maintain your importance in the enterprise? And this makes it stickier if you can go to the C-suite and say, these are the things that need to be worked on. Now let's work on them, okay? Instead of wasting your time preparing that, you've all of a sudden become a trusted advisor to those people in the decision-making role, which I think is really important for you to understand. And I know you do because we've talked at length. Do you see this having other applications across the enterprise? How about as a sales tool, or how about as a human resource tool?
Plus one to everything you just mentioned. The goal with Udly is to help trainers and coaches focus on the things that matter the most and delegate the repetitive mechanical tasks to AI. Again, the same way a doctor will use a thermometer, a coach will use Udly. In terms of use cases, yes. The biggest ones we have are no-brainer sales enablement. So someone like a Dale Carnegie or a Toastmasters is using this across the org with all of their clients. Dale Carnegie, Texas in this case. We've got manager training. So Korn Ferry is using Udly to train Fortune 500 execs on having crucial conversations or onboarding. Someone like Spencer Stewart is using Udly to train folks for interview preparation, right? In the status quo, the way I would prepare for an interview is practice back and forth on Zoom or ask someone to be on the other side. If there are any ecosystems in which human role play is required, Udly is a great alternative, or at least a great on-ramp to the human role play.
Well, I know you're on a tight timeline today, so I won't keep you long, but I do have just a broader question for you. In our world, we talk a lot about just the future of AI and how it's going to transform work. Anything you'd like to add about what you see as the future of AI? I mean, it's funny, around here we always, the final statement is could be, right? That it's going to either ruin civilization, could be, or it could cure cancer, could be. But where do you see we're going with this? And you've tied your future to this. So give me some idea of where you think AI, how it'll impact work, and how it'll impact the labor market and the enterprise of the future.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm the world's best expert on it, but I can tell you my take. I think we're moving to a world where information will be at your fingertips at all times. By that, I mean, if I'm in a McKinsey job interview, within seconds, I will have the number of ping pong balls that fit in a Boeing 747 because some cool chip in my head gave me that answer. Or if I'm a car salesman, I will have all of the information about my prospect at my fingertips the moment I'm making the pitch to them, right? So I will know exactly what I should say. As a result of which, I think information will become so commoditized that the way you express this information is what will differentiate a high performer or someone who's really successful from anyone else, which is why I'm also really excited about Yoodli. If we can build a world that helps people communicate with confidence and clarity and empathy, I think we can solve a lot of problems, especially because on the side, AI is going to solve the problem of accuracy and saying the right things.
Varun, I really want to thank you for being with us today. Very insightful. Another app that'll help strategic communicators build better relationships with their clients. I'm looking forward to following you as Yoodli grows and becomes a major force in strategic communications.
It is super early days for us at Yoodli. I'm excited to see where it goes. Thank you for having me. If folks are curious, you can sign up for free. I'd be remiss if I didn't make a shameless plug at www.yoodli.ai, and we'd love to hear what you think.
This podcast is a production of Gregory FCA. If you enjoyed our discussion today and want to continue exploring the transformative power of AI, please check out more episodes and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.